Like, I'm like, well, what's, it's a what about me? Like,
No, no.
so frustrating, like, I'm
Yeah,
frustrating, but everybody's different. Everybody's,
exactly.
everybody's respond differently. So,
But like, I feel with you, it's like it's healing
mhm,
each part of the
and
brain that was hit.
that's
So
true.
for me, it was like one section, like the
Yes.
frontal lobe, or uh, I don't know exactly what part of the brain that was really hit hard, but it's like that that one piece that I have to heal, but you have to heal each
I love,
individual, and that takes. And it's so hard to not compare yourself to
yes,
people.
it
Like
is.
I did that with driving for the longest. I'm like, okay, I'm stuck. I live at home. I basically live in the middle of nowhere, but it's on Long Island, but it's super far from the trains. I couldn't really travel. So it's
Mhm.
like I compared a lot to my sisters, to everybody around me. And I'm like, oh, I have to take taxis. I have to do that. I'm like, when will I get to this next step? But it's like, I think I think time, and you're so right with those baby steps. You know, I just say I love the video that you posted on Facebook that I saw. That blew my mind.
Yeah.
And baby steps is really good, but also maybe writing down, like in the morning, writing down your progress, and then you can look back and be like,
Yeah.
holy
I,
canola.
I have done that. So writing is therapeutic for me. Like, I've been writing my journey down for a lot. I put it in my phone because it's easy for me to put it in my phone. I don't have time to always grab a notebook and pen. If it's like 3 in the morning, it's like,
Yeah, it's like just grab my phone.
yeah. So the phone is easier to use. So I definitely have been tracking my journey for quite a while now. So I have done.
That's amazing. Okay. Did you find any hobbies that like sped up your recovery that you like love to do, that you were super healing for you?
I'm a big reader. I love reading. Like I said, writing, of course. Not playing. I'm a gamer. I love playing games. I
Oh,
like I like word games, like mind games.
ooh,
That hurt. Like I always love like things that challenge my brain because I'm a thinker, and so
yeah.
I'm a natural born learner, and so I've always this helped a lot with my memory and stuff, and all this definitely has helped me all the way. So I would say,
Have you ever played that game? It's like on the newspaper. In the newspaper, I always used to play where they jumble up the words,
um,
jumble up the letters. I'm sorry, and then you
not
have to.
in the newspaper, but I haven't. I played. I well, not played it, but I've taken note of. It's a section in the paper called like finding differences or whatever. You
Oh, I love that game.
I do too. Like, oh my god. So my when a person from STL TV station he would print them out for me because he know I love doing them, and so
Uh,
he print out 1,000 copies. So I love finding the differences. So it's like
yeah.
so it's like little weird stuff like that I like doing. So
I love that, and especially like it helps you, and you don't even realize it because it's like you're paying attention to detail.
the
I don't know if you remember, People magazine. I would always go to the It's like one of the last pages in
details.
the magazine, and it had spot your. I think it was People magazine. It had spot your differences, and I would do it. I would always do the word game, but
So
crossword was really hard for me though. I'm not really good at that, but yeah.
I love those games. So what do you find difficult to do like at this point in your life now? That's kind of a challenge for you still.
So my thing was, I don't know if I had it. I think it's aphasia, where I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to come up with words. So I kind of play a game with whoever I'm talking to, whether they know I have a brain injury or they don't, where
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, that thing. So we do it together. I'm like, okay, so aphasia is basically I believe it's when you try to come up with a word. Like, you know the word and you know the thing you're talking about, but you can't piece them together. So I'm like, okay. So I play a game with the person. I'm like, you know what I'm talking about? It goes like this, and they help me. And then, so that's communication is a big thing, and also social awareness.
Okay.
That, and um, I had a really bad issue with this. Like, at the beginning of my recovery and even now, I have no filter. I will, I,
So you
I
just,
will,
just
what?
you just say whatever, like just.
Oh no, yeah, I do not hold back, and it's helpful in some situations,
Yeah.
but other situations, like professionally, it's like
No way.
you should not have said that, and then I overthink myself. Like I'll be coming home from work, I'll go on a date with my boyfriend or anything, and I'll just like, should I? And I'm obsessive about it, and I'll think about it, and I'll be like, maybe that wasn't the best plan to have said
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
that's funny. Um, so how important is brain injury awareness to you?
The fact that I'm just, it's a 10. For a while I did, so okay, I've always wanted to do this,
Mm-hmm.
but I needed to accept what happened to me and let go of the past. And let go of the past and then be like, okay, Ariel, now you're ready to help people. Now you're at that stage in your life where it's like, okay, all that baggage in the past it's there. It's out the window. And now you can move on and start helping people. And I think it's also helping me heal.
Yeah.
Like talking about it and just getting it out of my mind. And
Yes.
how about you?
It's the same for me. Talking about it really helps me. It's a brain injury. Brain injury awareness is important to me because, like I said, not enough people know about it. It's not very common in the African American community, or at least I'm not saying it's not that common, but like people don't talk about it. In my community, like I said, I don't think it's like invisible, but it's just people talk about it, and so to bring people, more people heard about it, that it does happen to more people than we know, and it sometimes you miss it because the person you on the street, they're not going to say, "Oh, you had a brain injury," because you don't have the physical evidence of a person in the a person that's been injured because you walk and stuff. So a lot of people categorize brain injuries were like wheelchairs and canes and things like that. People, not I'll say accessory, but like you use like a tool to help you get around. It's like it's there, but that's not true because it comes in so many different forms and it's so many different ways. I'm in a wheelchair, you're not. And it's like we still have injuries. You
Exactly.
just see your injury. So and the brain's inside your head, so it's like you can't really see it, you don't see it anyway. But I just want people to be more aware about it, just know. And I've heard some pretty amazing stories myself. And I'm like, wow, you made it through that. Like people are amazed at my story, but I'm like, I'm amazed at your story.
Yeah. I'm like, I wouldn't like for me to you. I'm just like, oh, it opens up my mind and it's just like it makes. It's just like it's mind blowing.
It really is. It's like wow, like all this. It's definitely something. How important are support groups? How important would you say support groups are?
So it was funny. In the beginning of my recovery, I thought I was at the right recovery support group. I thought it was people like me going, but I was at the wrong. It was for people who were taking care, like caregivers, and I was like, they're like, no, but tell us your story. Like, we want to learn from you. And I think that's also what I want. That's why it's so important to me because I want to help caregivers understand what we're going through, the fatigue. Just there's so many factors involved, the impulsivity, just everything involved. That it's no filter. Like some people think, like, oh, she's just honest. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm just honest. It's just kind of who I am now, and like, just accepting, and it's which is really hard. How long into talking about acceptance? How long into the recovery did you fully accept what happened to you, if you did, or if you're continuing to do so, or?
I have accepted it at this point in my life. It took me about I say 7, 8 years maybe.
Yeah, definitely.
It's been a total of 12 now, but it took about 7, 8 years, I think, for me to get to this point that I feel like, okay, it's not fine, but I can deal with it now. I'm able to talk about it in a healthy way. I'm able to
Yeah.
not be mad about it still. I just, yeah, it took about 7 years to get to this point. Because I mean, the first year, I was still kind of angry and I wasn't like in the best place. Um, so yeah, I remember writing about it and put it on Facebook. And I don't know why this is, but I thought like, in the notes section of Facebook, like you have the notes or whatever.
Yeah.
I thought that like only you see that, like just you, like yourself.
Yeah. Oh,
And,
really? It was public?
yeah, I pressed publish. Like I'm thinking like, oh, it's just me that I can see it.
Yeah.
No, so I start seeing comments. I'm like, you can see this.
This is not supposed to happen.
Like I was like, oh my goodness. But I didn't say anything like that was bad or whatever. But I'm like, oh my goodness. So, but like I said, writing has always been therapeutic for me. Like it just always helped me
Yeah.
to get
It,
past.
it, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, writing has helped me get past it and to, you know,
Exactly. Just to kind of get it out of your system and not keep it, especially like with the negative thoughts swirling around. It's like sometimes those aren't real. Like it's just like sometimes it's good to see it on paper or see it in notes, and it's like, okay, now reading back to it, I'm crazy for even remotely thinking that. I have a question. Okay, but we didn't go over the question. I just thought about it.
Uh-oh.
Oh, okay. No. Let me know if you don't want to.
It's fine.
Did you have any? Did you go? Did you depend on anything? Like, I wouldn't say addiction, but did you? Any part of your recovery? Did you depend on, like, alcohol or weed or like not? You can't even depend on weed really, but
Was I relying on something like a stimulant or whatever?
yeah, exactly.
No. I think I'm addicted to his guys. I don't really, I will say this: my prayer life has definitely picked up like a whole lot. It's extremely a lot. Like my prayer life is like to the roof. But yeah, I wasn't addicted to any like painkillers, anything like that. And it's funny because I'm not a sickly person. So until this happened, I never really took medicine like that, unless I'm like in pain a little bit, but just not very often. So this is the most I've ever taken medicine in my life. Like I'm taking medicine now, but I haven't taken medicine like for anything besides this until this happened. So
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah. For me, I would smoke weed for like a couple of months when I rebelled because then I was impulsive and whatnot. But I felt like weed really helped me. I don't know.
Or
Yeah, and I heard CBD oil.
I've heard that it helps some people.
Yeah.